Okay, see here? This is going to be on recording. These are weight training gloves. Any kind of gloves so you can give your hands support. We're going to be gripping. If you have arthritis, if you have any kind of issues with your hands, we're going to be gripping weights and bars and everything else. Get your gloves on. So that's number one. Number two, as I was going over with those who were coming on, because we kind of are behind the eight ball now. Do you see what I'm doing? This is a putting on your shoe or sock tutorial. I've done this before, but I'm going to put it on again, and I'm going to put it in the descriptions when I put these things on the YouTube channel. See, putting on your sock. Oh my goodness, there are some people with such back issues, and they just think I can't move. They don't want to ask for help. Either ask for help or listen up. You either go back and bring your leg up, or you hip hinge. See that? I hip hinge. That's how I moved down in order to put my shoe on. And if you're doing this with me, yes, it's a form of warming up those hips, of warming up and extending your back. See that? So choose whichever way. I'll do one way, one the other way. This move of putting on a sock and a shoe is the move that puts more people's backs out than almost any other one. Okay? And that's just the way it is. Here's my shoe. I'm pretending I have a back issue. So I'm going to step in. See that? I will either bring this up and do these moves with me, because this is part of your warm-up. So you got your shoes on. Fine. Just pretend you don't. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm hip hinging back. I'm extending my back by saying rib cage up. Okay? And then I can lean back without flexing my back in a bad way. I can tie my shoes this way, but I'm very mindful of whatever I'm doing. I don't want to round out and flex my back at this point. Okay? So now I'm going to just tighten in my little shoe here because I'm hip hinged forward. What I am not, and if you'll see this, is my back is very extended. Okay? While I'm down there, I can do this way. I can do this way. So I hope you're doing this right now, because sometimes when you get up and you're so stiff, whether it's from whatever disorder you have, whatever challenge you have, whether it's overworking, whether it's underworking, you know, there is such a thing. You've got to pay attention to the first things that you do. And if you're going to put your shoes on, many people get into trouble right there. So now I hip hinged forward, put on one sock. So see these movements that I'm doing? I want you to do every one of them with me, whether or not you have your shoes on. But especially, see, this is my replaced knee. Okay? It's tighter. You know, someone says, oh, well, you had this done, you had that. No, it's tighter. So when you bring it up, be mindful of that. If you're going to put your sock on, and when you go to reach down on a very tight knee, it could be very problematic. So that may be the one that you want to keep on the floor and put the shoe on. I can still do it, no problem, but my rib cage stays up. Then I prep my shoe, I open up the laces, put it down. See how I'm hip hinging back and forth? I hope you're doing this right now. This is part of our warm-up, y'all. So here we go. Do you see how I've leaned in now? And I'm tying my shoe up. But look at here. Then I put my hands right here. And I push myself up. And I don't ask my back to, by itself, pull myself up. Try it. If you're sitting with me right now, put your hands here, put your elbows here, go down as deep as you can, and believe me, This is my hip replace side. This is the side that's talking to me right now. And it gets tight. I did a ton of stairs yesterday, a lot of carrying, etc. But see here how I'm going down, and then I can turn, and then I can turn, and I do little tiny moves with my back in extension. That's what you got to hear, with my shoulders down. I'm going to keep my chin tucked. Some of you came on and I didn't get to say howdy ho to you all. I saw Marilyn. I'm glad you're on with us, Marilyn. We missed you. And we're going to miss you on Thursday when we get together. I'll do a little video and send it to you. Do you see what I've just done now? I have really helped my back. I've helped my hip joints, my shoulder joints, my groin muscle, because I turned like this and I started getting loosened up. And every time I ask my back to come up, I do it with my back extended. As a matter of fact, if you're having a lot of locked up hips, locked up backs, sometimes you just don't want to move, then find yourself sitting down. And I hope you're doing all of these little warm-up moves with me as I put my shoes on, because this is where you start strengthening. But see this move right here? I couldn't even give that to someone who had excessive rolling forward of their shoulders and they didn't know how to extend their back. So first we would have to figure out how to bring their shoulders down, how to stay rib cage up, and then point right here and you hip hinge and you go down just as far as you can. And that means you're going to start feeling stretches through your groin. You're going to feel it all through your legs. You're going to feel it all through here. But now here's the key. I put my hands here and I push a little. I keep my back very extended as I come up. So that is, in essence, the move that somebody might do for they used to call them deadlifts. I don't know that I want to call it a deadlift with this class. I hope you're laughing. We'll call it a good morning. It used to be called good mornings. So it's kind of like when you lift up, kind of like how flowers lift up in the field to sun. Okay, that's where that came from. So the good morning is, and maybe it's a greeting. You bow and you come back up. Okay, so I'm doing this several times right now, and I hope you're doing it with me, because you don't realize how tight and locked up your hips and your lower back get. And then you start doing lifts and you start doing other stuff. And yeah, you can walk around and get loosened up. But I'll tell you, when you do this several times, I hope you've done it now. See how my feet are? They're pointed, my knees are pointing right in the same direction as my toes. So I hope you notice that. And they're wide, okay? So as I go in and I come back, the few times that I've done it now, just putting on my shoes, etc., man, I'm feeling the warming up. It's much better now going all the way down and coming back up. And then you add cross, see that? And you pull the knee right into your chest, okay? If you're sitting up really, really well right now, which means rib cage up, which means back extended, shoulders down, then you grab your knee and you pull it right in. Don't round your back. Lean in from your hip hinge. You lean in, but you keep really extended back. That's when you're going to start warming up all this locked up area right here that go into the hip, that go into the lower back. Okay, so you just push the knee out. This is my hip replace side. I'm not pushing it hard. I'm just pushing a little. Then I bring it right into the chest. Okay, right into the chest. Say rib cage up. Lean in with your rib cage up. This is an important move. Lean in with your rib cage up. Take a breath. Release or exhale. Take a breath. Pull in. Pull this knee in. and then release and come back out. Okay? Now we're going to do the other way, but we're going to wait right now. We're going to go really wide. We're going to go back down and act like we're tying our shoes. That's all that you got to remember about this move. And there's a lot of times when you find yourself having to rush around or whatever, and you're tight and you're just not feeling good. And then you're just like, oh, let me not exercise today. See how I'm going down very slowly again? I'm going down a little further. Take a big deep breath. Use your hands. Come up. So use your hands. Now you're going to take the other leg and you're going to cross it over. This is my knee replace side. It's very tight up and through here. So this is especially good for those of us with knee issues. So if you can get your ankle over your knee, great. If you can't, if you're sitting out there going, well, dang, I can't even do that. What you do is you put your foot up on something that you can, and you go from there, okay? So like put it up on a chair. What you don't do is bend your back to try to get the foot up there. So, or just do like this. See, I've crossed my shin. See that? Then I go down here, and instead of putting my hands around here, I put it here. And I go ahead and use my arms and pull in. See that? So you can do that. There's some of us out here that, you know, there's just stuff going on that you can't control. Then you learn how to manage it. But what you don't do is get into back flexing, especially the very first thing in the morning. See what I'm doing right now? See, I'm leaning back. I'm bringing my hands right here. You could bring your hands in here. And I'm pulling my knee into my chest. I'm taking big breaths through my nose. I'm getting a superb stretch going right up through here. Typically, where people think they have like sciatic nerve issues, this is a great move right here. Especially if you have a knee replaced and it's tight. Try to get to where you can do this, but don't flex your back. Did I say don't flex your back? Yeah. See how I'm leaning back and I'm putting pressure as much as I can, bringing that knee into my chest, okay? Typically, you're not going to see stuff like this out there because typically people with joints replaced are not doing this stuff, okay? And they've got discouraged with the typical whatever tutorials on, you know, exercise and so forth. But we still need to move, and we still have to take care of those joints and all the muscles that are surrounding them that's tightening us in. This is one way to do it, and it's done from a simple act of acting like you're putting on your shoes or your socks. See that? So I'll go one way, then the other way, then I come to the middle, I turn, I push against my knee, I drop my chin, I go to central, I turn, I push on my knee right here, push it out, and look and come back in. Yay. Now I'm going to go wide, and I'm going to look around for my little pad. See? I'm going to stand up. So I'm down here sitting on, you know, putting on my shoes. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to put this under my butt. So here I am right here. I'm going to get ready to stand up. And then I'm going to put this right there. Okay? So we're using movement patterns that we typically do, getting up and getting around in the morning to warm us up. We put on our gloves. We did putting on our shoe, and we really worked through some major joints just doing that. Now I've raised myself 2 inches, and I'm going to go out with my hands like this. So as I start, I bring my elbows totally back. I drop my chin, tighten up. So you tighten up, you pull those shoulders back. And somebody might say, well, how far back do I go, Dean? And I'll say, well, how far can you go? Drop your shoulders. Number 1, open your hips. Number 2, And when you open your hip, you're going to feel a bracing. Okay? This bracing is supporting your extended back. Okay? So I'm trying to help you make these connections. So you open the hip, drop your chin, pull those elbows back until you can almost touch the chair back. See that? I'm turning just a tiny bit. Take a big breath through your nose. You're tight here. You're extended in your back. Your shoulders are down. I'm doing little tiny turns. And now I'm gonna reach out with my palms down. And at this point, this is where you have to be super vigilant, because at this point is where everybody wants to round their back because they're used to doing that. So your hands go out, okay? Now I'm gonna push into my heels. That takes pressure off the knee. And I'm going to shine my tail lights. And then I'm gonna come up, okay? Take a big deep breath. There's my chair, okay? I'm gonna go right back down with my hands extended and come back. Now here's the thing. You think, oh, we've done that before. Yes. However, I went through some very important moves to loosen you up through your core and your hip and your gluteal, okay? So as I come up and I'm pulling those elbows back, and you notice my hands are down. They're right here. See, my thumb is right there. Pull those elbows back. Here's the thing. You tend to press harder on one side of your leg than the other side. I'm very aware of that propensity with this little hip that's talking to me, because that will start weakening you. If you constantly don't be aware of your movement patterns, and as you're going into a sit down, yeah, you do that because there's pain. And so you have to either change what you're doing or just pay attention to it and make sure that you try to equalize this move out. So I'm constantly to make sure I don't get any of those little messages from my hips. See, and I know some of you have gone through this. Make sure that you don't overuse the other leg. That's the point. So drop your shoulders, come here. Notice if it's giving you a problem in a normal movement pattern. Because if you are having joint issues and it's halting you from doing normal functional moves that you do through the day, I mean, you're going to have to be able to do this, right? Or you're going to need to go shopping for a bedpan. Do you get my point? So pay attention. If that's giving you issues in a normal functional range and you have no weight, then you got to pay attention and say, okay, is this something that's a muscle imbalance? Or am I moving toward degeneration of my hip? Am I moving toward bone on bone? And in order to know that, then yeah, you got to go see somebody. I know. See how I'm coming up and down? I'm not saying much about it, but I hope you're following with me. Do you see how my hands are not going up above my chin? They're right here. See that? My elbows are back. Yeah. I'm putting this one in specifically for the K's of the world. She really wants to work on her shoulders, and this is one of them. This is not an extreme move, but if you're mindful, you're coming out, and when you come in right here, see, don't drop your wrist. So keep your wrist neutral. Tighten. Bring those elbows back, but the elbows are at armpit level is the point. As you come back in, see, go into a hip hinge and come back down. And then I open just a little bit until I feel this kick. Until I feel this kick in is what I mean. See, I'm back here. Then I'm going to keep my chin tucked. I'm going to come into my heels and come up and back. Take a big deep breath and come back. Take a big deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And until I started saying exhale, inhale, some of you are holding your breath. How do I know this? Because I know what slugs do. Don't hold your breath. When you're coming into heels, and you see, I'm not saying anything, I'm just doing the job. See this? Watch your wrists, watch your wrists. Every time you come in and you lean back, this contracts, this kicks in. Big breath, exhale. And if you get mixed up, breathing, just breathe through your nose. That means shut your mouth. Number one, and just keep breathing. Okay, this is not like an inordinate amount of pressure. Now, it can be for some people that have not done these on a regular basis. This can be an extreme move just to stand up. So I'm trying to help mitigate that for people who tune into this little thing, this little workout that I'm doing on a regular basis, because I want you to be able to get up with ease. But all the things I put into place, so I'm telling you, when I started this today, this hip was really talking to me. It's not saying one thing now. Yeah, so that tells me that whatever's going on is creating some kind of muscle imbalance. And guess what? There ain't nobody gonna get me out of that but me. I've gone through very painstakingly how to do that just now in this warm-up that I've been doing with y'all. And my hip is not talking to me now. It's flowing pretty easily because I'm pushing through the heels. I'm shining my taillights. My back is extended. My shoulders are down. My chin is tucked. Okay? So, you should be breathing a little bit now. And we didn't even walk around yet. So, we're going to be using weights. If using weights maybe is not working good for you on this particular class, if you're still having trouble, so how would you know that? Well, if you're having trouble sitting down like this, and see I've got 2 inches here that's raised, that's a big help. Is it more challenging without this? Absolutely. But some people need to use a little lift, okay? And I needed to use it this morning because of this hip that's talking to me. But now it's floating really well because I gave it a chance to warm up. And I hope I'm getting your attention with this. This isn't done typically because people are like so quick to go to the next move and the next move. And yeah, we need to move along. However, you got to give those joints, especially into the hip, especially into the back, with people with different issues, you just don't give it a chance. So my hands are down here. I'm going to cross over. So this is our pattern walking. And what is the foible? What is the issue when you do this? Okay. Some of you did that with me. I didn't mention anything. I didn't caution anything. I just did this. And you know what you did? You leaned in and you rounded your back. I know, because we're slugs, and that's what we do. So I'm telling you how to get out of trouble. I went through painstakingly how to do hip hinges, okay? How to go rib cage up, yeah? Then when you put your foot like this and you start to go forward, what do? You cave and you start tilting forward, which is totally what I don't want you to do. You hip hinge through the hip to go forward, and you bend your knees, okay? So I didn't even take a step. Do this again with me and think about what you're doing, because I'm not there to watch you. So you have to really be aware of what you do. And I'm telling you, if you have degeneration of the spine, you're going to feel it in this move. And so what do we do to get to so it doesn't hurt? You know what we do? We round our back and we go like this. And then we wonder why we're walking around like this. I know. So I'm breaking it down for you, and I'm going way back, and I'm breaking down these moves. These are very functional moves. When you take that step right there, you just act like I'm behind you. Soften your knees and say rib cage up. Pretend I'm just pulling those rib cages up. Then I can take a step. And then I don't hunch over. Okay, so I've gone over this before, but you know, when the weather starts changing as dramatically as it does, do you see what I just did? Soften the knees, say rib cage up, and then take that step. We start having a lot more discomfort, aches and pains, especially if you're prone to arthritis, if you're prone to different joint issues, okay? So when you step over, first thing you do is soften your knees, because the first thing you want to do is lock your joints, because it makes it what you think easier to move, but no. So unlock your joints, drop your shoulders. All you have to do to breathe through your nose is shut your mouth, okay? It'll happen. Then you step forward. Then you're not so prone to lock your knees when you're walking. Okay, one more time, across. So right there, some of you have a propensity to round up the back. Don't do it. Pretend I'm behind you. Rib cage up. And then I take that step. I'm much more I'm much more likely to, after doing that, on my first steps, to keep that rib cage up, okay? Than if I had not done it and I just went straight to the weights and we just did that. Because I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to use some leg weights today. So I hope you got your leg weights. You got your hands warmed up. I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to get right into our class. So instead of picking up very lightweight, I'm going to go to a medium weight. For me, that's going to be 9 or 12. That's kind of a medium weight. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up 9s. And I'm going to come right back here so that it doesn't, so our previous moves help you. And it's going to play on the moves we're going to do now with weights. Okay? So that said, I still have my little pad here. Okay? Still have my pad. I'm going to go wide. Right? I'm going to bring these hands right here. And to remember how we reached, do you remember that? Well, I have a pretty big weight now. So I'm not going to reach like I did. But I am going to do this little kind of a punchy thing. See what I'm doing? My palms are down. And I'm just punching out there. My knees are soft. I'm starting to do the hip hinge. Do you see that? I bring these up. I keep my shoulders down and I do this. I don't go way out. Drop your shoulders. Take a big breath. Bend the knees. Push the butt back just a tiny bit. And do that little reach. See that? So I'm doing it one at a time. Keeping my shoulders down. Breathing through my nose. Big breath. Drop your shoulders. See this little punchy thing with my knees soft? Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to turn my hands up. Now I'm going to go into the sit down. And now I'm going to come right here. I'm going to lean out. And how am I going to lean out? Am I going to round my back? Well, with everything we just went through, I sure hope not. And if you do, then you get the title of Super Slug. Because you're not listening. Drop your shoulders, okay? My palms are up. I'm but my back is super extended. Yes. Drop your shoulder, your chin. I'm sorry. Drop your shoulders. Yes. See, if you drop your shoulders, the shoulders roll into your spine just normally. That's how you do that. You don't throw your shoulders back. You drop your shoulders. Okay? Usually that's all it takes. Lean in, bring those hands out, just like this, and then pull right here. So see, I'm giving my back extensors a job. I'm pushing through the heels, even though I'm not standing, but I'm leaned out. This is really working your back extensor. So my hands are here, my shoulders are down. I'm gonna pull with this medium weight. I have a 9 and a 9. Pull. See, I'm leaning out. Keep my chin tucked. Pull. Breath, shoulders down. Big breath. Breath through the nose. Push into the heels. Because if you're not aware, you're going to be using your stronger leg. I want to push both heels down. Okay? Push both heels down. Breath. Push your heels. Equal. Right there. Drop your shoulders. Big breath. Okay, come up and put these weights right here. See that? Okay, so I just put a little press on my biceps, on all my upper body, especially my back extensors. They're pretty warmed up now, so I'm going to go wide. I'm going to bring my toes up. And why am I going to do that? Because some of you are going to go forward and you're going to press into your toes. I don't want you to press into your toes. So my rib cage is up. I'm holding these weights in place right here, just like that. My chin is tucked. I'm going to lean in. See that? I'm going to lean in as far as I can go, and then I'm going to pull back. Okay? So this is the beginning of progressively loading through your back extensors. And why am I doing these little baby steps? Why don't I just go for the deadlift or the good mornings? This is kind of a good morning, but it's a baby step because I have lots of people that have a diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia of the spine. And one of the foremost things you're supposed to do is what? Yeah, load them. Load the spine, load your frame, load your muscles. But why would I go to the hardest thing if somebody isn't moving correctly? See, that won't help. So you see what I'm doing? I'm doing just a very gentle leaning in. I'm hip hinging. I'm shining my taillights. But as I pull back, see, with 18 pounds on my shoulders, I got to keep my chin tucked. I got to keep my shoulders down. I go down as far as I feel I can, and then I pull back, okay? And I'm pushing on my heels. So as I go in here, I'm pushing on my heels primarily, and I come back. And if you're not aware of what you're doing, I'm telling you, you are pushing more on your stronger leg. Okay? Take a big breath. Keep your chin tucked. We got 3 more here. Here we go. Right here. Go as far as you can and then come back. These aren't fast, but they're very, you really are thinking about how your movement pattern is happening. Okay, keep your chin tucked. And see, each one I go down just a little bit more. Just like a fraction of an inch more. Take a big deep breath. That was 3, I think. Okay, 1 more. Kathy's about to yell at me. I know it. Okay, are you ready? I can hear her saying, yes, I was about to yell at you. Kathy, I can only count about past 3. So when I start counting, 3 is it. Okay, drop your shoulders. All right, are you ready? Now we're gonna do the sit down. See, I'm gonna bring them right here. Okay, so that means I have to go wide. And I'm going to come right here and feel how it's feeling. Then I'm going to let myself go down and put my weights down in the floor. And some of you might say, well, how is that a functional move, Jeannie? How many times have you been sitting or standing and had to reach down and grab something and pull it back? Yeah, and sometimes your joints will talk to you and say, you can't do that. See that? So this is going to be a little further, and it's in a sit down situation. We're going to do it standing in just a minute. So stay with me. Here I go. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to push into my heels. I'm going to grab my weights. And it's when you grab your weights that many of you are going to round your back. If you find that when you get down in this down position, if you start to round right here, don't pull the weights. Okay, just don't do it. Okay. So see how I'm going very wide, number one. I'm pushing into my heels, number two. My shoulders are down, number three. And then I grab those weights and I notice, am I rounding my back? Okay. So I'm going to pull one up, then the other, push into the feet and the heels and come up. Then I'm going to go down. I won't put them on the floor, but I'm going to go all the way down and tap, tap, tap on the floor and then come back. See that? So really push into the heels. Really straighten and extend your back. Okay? Drop your shoulders. Here I go. All the way down. Tap, tap, tap. Push into the heels and come back. Big breath. Here we go. Push your butt back. Heels, tap, tap, tap. Do not round your back. Do not. Drop your shoulders. Okay? Big breath. Here we go. All the way down. Heels. Keep your chin up. Tap, tap, tap. Pull back. Okay. Two more. Drop your shoulders. Heels. Tap, tap, tap. Pull and come back. Don't round your back. How do you not do that? Drop your shoulders and you say ribcage up. Then you push into your gluteal right here. Push into your, like you're trying to shine your taillights. That's the hip hinge. And pull back. See that? Okay, one more. This is it. Here we go. Breath. Tap, tap. And pull back. Yeah. Okay, before we stand up, bring those medium weights right here to your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. Open. Close. See, don't be in a rush to shove the weights up. There's a whole lot of other movements that we've got to make sure is working before we go pushing our weights up over our heads. Okay, which I probably won't go up over my head, but I'll go about to my ear level. See right there? See right there? Notice. Look at your elbow. Look at your hands. So I want you to stay with me right now. This is kind of important. Keep your chin tucked. Take breaths. If you look to the side, either side, and you're doing this, then you can't go up with your weights, okay? Because you're not working your shoulder properly, okay? So keep your chin tucked, open, and if you can get your elbows and your wrists in line, and you're not doing this, then you can come up. But if you can't do that, then you got to get these elbows right here, okay? Take a breath. Big breath. Here we go. Up, just to the top of the ears and back down. Big breath. This is medium weights. Whatever that is for you. Take a breath. Big breath. And back. Take a breath. Right there. Back. Big breath. See how my elbow is right in line with my wrist, is right in line with my shoulder? Take a breath. Okay. Bring them in. and bring them down. I know. We're having fun, right? Okay, drop your shoulders. Hip hinge. We're not going to go all the way down, but now we're going to get, we've done front of the chest, side of the chest, now back, okay, with medium weights. Okay, here we go. You're stepping wide. Do not let your knees be coming in, okay? I'm going to go forward a little. So, big breath through your nose, drop your shoulders. Yes. Bring those weights right here. Drop your shoulders, lean in just a little. Okay, so it's almost like I have my hands in my pocket right here. See that? Drop your shoulders. Open back right there. Keep your chin tucked and you're leaning in just a little. And why am I having you do this? Because when you lean in and you've got proper form with your shoulders down and your back extended, and then you go into just a straight arm from bending your elbow, you're putting really good positive load on the spine. Yes. And people with osteoporosis diagnosis, this is what you should be doing, these kinds of things to help it halt, to give your bones, to give your muscles and your joints some good load. Take breaks. She's gonna start howling. Take a breath and come up. Maybe she hears some of you howling. I told you she's gonna howl. See this? See this? Come back. Take a breath. Hip hinge forward, pushing into your feet and your heels especially. Keep your shoulders down. Keep your chins tucked. Chins really nice and tucked. Come back. I told you she's gonna howl. She just started doing this. I don't understand. She's howling. Take a big deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Realign. You're gonna hip hinge first. Don't round in the lower back. Don't round. Keep your shoulders down. Here we go. Push them out there. Okay, now stay there. Do repeats. Push. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your back extended. Come on, push. We can do this. Take a breath. Just push the elbows open. See that? Squeeze the backs of those arms. But see, the whole time when you're doing it in this kind of a position, you're giving your spine really good load. My shoulders are rolled into the spine because I pushed them down. Okay, 2 more. Push. 1 more. Push. And then come back. Nice. Okay. Drop your shoulders. You can do the whole thing today, which I'm going to do some standing up. So recovering right now. Open your hands, wiggle your fingers. Yeah, wiggle your fingers. Got to give them breaks. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up with these weights. So this will be 18 pounds that I'm standing up with. Some of you can do that. Some of you maybe need to put your weight down and then get in a position to stand up. Okay? Are you ready? Heels. Right here. Right here. And right here. Okie dokie. Take a big deep breath. So we're in a great position with a nice medium weight, not heavy. And I'm just gonna let one, I'm gonna go to a move that I did Friday. Just let one hand go down. See that? I'll turn side so you see what I'm doing. So these are not moving. The hips. And all I'm gonna do is let the hand go down the seam of my pant and then come back without moving the hips. That's what you need to hear here. 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 Here we go. See this? And then I come back. The minute I do this move in a general class, I got people that think that they're doing this. See what I'm doing? But in actuality, you know what they're doing? They're doing this. See that? See how I've displaced my hips? I don't want you to do that. You're standing your ground with your feet. You're pushing into your heels. You're squeezing a little bit in the butts. And all you do is come down. And you should let your weight pull you down. And then you pull up with those deep core muscles. You don't pull yourself up by swinging your hips. Okay? And you don't pull yourself up by lifting your shoulders. That's not what we're doing right now. This is a deep core muscle work. Okay, so I'm just recapping. If you want to go through the whole tutorial with a very heavy weight, I do that on, it was last Friday. Yeah, okay. So this is a good time to do that because see, you've been holding your back in extension since the beginning of the class, basically, okay, or you should have. So it's a good time to take a minute and do that kind of a side bend. But when you do a side bend, you keep your hips still. Yeah, there's some times that we will do this. It's a great move, we do it, but not when you're pulling a weight. See, I'm doing that to get these. We're all the way back here to the back. They come right around here, okay? It's all of your lats and your transverse muscles, all of these muscles that help hold in through your core. Okay, shake out your hands. Now we take this out. Now we put it down. Now we go over and pick up a pretty heavy weight. So now I'm going to go up into, well, it could be medium. I'm going to pick up 12. Okay. So now I'm going to channel change. And I'm going to go to 12. I've given my hands a break. I've given my my back extensors a recovery move, which is this move that we did with just a medium weight. And again, this is a medium weight. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is come down through the spine, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the ankles, and I'm going to put this weight right here. Okay, and I'm going to put this weight right here. And all I'm going to do is hang on to it. I'm going to pull in my tummy, take a breath through my nose. I'm going to step up onto a very spongy pad. Okay, and the minute I stand on the pad and it starts throwing you everywhere, you know what some of you do? You lock your knee. I know it. Okay, soften your knees. Don't really bend them, just soften them. The minute you soften them, it's going to put you into a hip hinge. That's okay. That's what I want to do. So soften the knees, hip hinge, and now all I'm going to do is step forward. See that? And then I'm going to come back. Now, let me caution you. If you have trouble with your ankles, your foot in any way, then you might not want to go forward. You might want to step back and then up, because you need to do a forward step holding your hand on something. And why? Because when you go to step back, and see, I'm doing this now with 24 pounds coming down, because I have a 12 and a 12. And when I go with my knees soft to step down, if I happen to catch my heel going down or coming back, then that could be not a pretty sight. Got it? So you have to judge that. Take a breath, drop your shoulders. Either don't use it with the weights or just step back. Okay, I'm gonna step forward. Okay, so there I am, stepping forward, say rib cage up, and then I press into the back leg or the leg that's on the pillow or the little disc, and that's where I get my pressure. That's where I get my strength. Oh, the strength work. Okay, but it's the front leg, the moving leg, that's going to get you into trouble. So right now, say rib cage up. Soften up the joints, the knees, drop your shoulders, push, and you come right back. Okie dokie. And see, I can glance down without bending forward too much. But you're going to press on that back leg. Okay, tight tummy, drop your shoulders, push. So you get to be the one that says how much weight you're going to be using. You get to be the one that says, do I need balance help stepping up, even if it's 2 inches? Okay, see this? So push into the back leg, come up. Yes. And don't go fast, because when you push up, some of you are not going to quite get your foot on the little pad. Okay, so bent knees, drop shoulders, push, boom, right there. Take a breath through the nose, drop your shoulders, boom, right there. Put it in the back leg, right there. Okay, and you're going to do several so that you get efficacy. Number one, you know how to do it. Then, once you know the mechanics, then you put the repetitions on there to give you the load. The load that we're trying to do to save our bones and our muscles. Breath, back, tight tummy, drop your shoulders. Here we go. Drop your shoulders, soften up the knees, push back. Okay, now I'm going to do some repeats. See this? I'm staying on one leg so that it achieves an overload. Keep the knee bent and back. Keep it bent in front. Okay, 2 more. Breath, breath, breath. Okay, make sure you're on your pillow. You're ready. Step. Put the pressure on the back leg. Do not round your back. Drop your shoulders. Drop your shoulders. Rib cage up. Take a breath. Keep the knee bent. Keep the knee bent. Breath. Breath. Drop your shoulders. Yeah. Big breath. Hang in, hang in, hang in. Just a few more. Here we go. Keep your knee bent. Rib cage up. Just 2 more. Just 2 more. Stay with me. One more. One more. Good. Step off. Bring those weights down. You should have felt that. Yes. Okay. Now, still using the second mid-range weight. So for me, it's a 12 and a 12. Okay. You can choose whatever is a mid-range weight for you. So yes, we're going to revisit this. You see how I just took the moment, just a second, and I stepped wide? Because now I'm going to go down to a chair that has no pad. Okay? So I don't have that 2 inches of grace. So here I am. I'm going to push into my hip. See how everything's rolling. See this? Here's my weights. Just put them on your thigh and just see how that feels. Okay, drop your shoulders, drop your chin. Here we go. Into the heels, into the heels, into the heels. Go on down, go on down, go on down, into the heels. And sit. Yeah. So now you don't have that 2 inches. It makes a difference, doesn't it? Okay, drop those shoulders again. Are you ready? You can either choose to leave your hands right here on your thigh, okay, which that's still going to be a load. And you can try it both ways to see which one you think is harder. So I can tell you that it's going to be harder for you to bring your hands out here, okay? So just try it out. Your feet should be as wide or wider than your chair leg. Now we're going to put everything into play that we went over in the first part of the class. We're going to hip hinge. We're going to drop our shoulders. And what are we not going to do when we go to stand up, even with holding 24 pounds or whatever poundage you chose? What are we not going to do when we go into here? We are not going to round our lower back, right? We're going to drop our shoulders. Take a big deep breath. We're going to come into here. You can either put your hands to the side or just keep them on the thigh. You're going to push into your heels. You're going to push into your heels and you're going to shine your taillights. Yeah, it's just a good prompt to help you go, oh yeah, if I shine my taillights, I'd be pushing back with my gluteals. Got it? Here we go. Breathe in through the nose. I'm going to come here and come up. Okay? So you can either have your hands here as you're coming down, or you can let them slide on your thigh. And I'm going to come up. So when I'm up here, I'm going to squeeze my butt. Then I'm going to go down and come right into the sit down. And then I'm going to come back. Take a big breath through your nose. Watch what you're doing with your knees. Many of you, when you go to sit down or stand, you bring your knees in, okay? Why do we do that? Because we have some weaknesses in through our legs, our hips, our deep muscles surrounding this task. So here we go. Keep those knees tracking over your toes. See, they're in line with my toes. So as I go to stand, I push into the heels. I take a breath and I exhale on exertion. So you breathe in now. Drop your shoulders. Are you ready? Exhale. Woo! Breathe in. Exhale. And I'm just managing these weights with my arms, my shoulders. I'm pushing through the heels. I'm going to push both heels equal. Keep my chin tucked. Yeah. Back down. Take a breath. Okay, 3 more. Just do them. 3 more with this heavier weight. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, we got 1 more. Heels. Yes. Then we come up. Okay. Now we're going to bring those weights to the middle. Now we're going to go put our elbows on our knees. Push our butt back. Back is very extended. I'm going to go down, tap, 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 come up, and then come up. I know. Big breath through the nose. Bring the weights in. Push the butts back. Elbows on the knees. Come down. Drop your butt. 1, 6. Come up and up. So when you go to the move right here, where you got to come up, go hard into the heels and really squeeze that butt. Yes, we're going to do 3 more just like that with the heavier weight. Here we go. Drop the butt. Tap, 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 tap. Push into the heels. And you're back up. Here we go. Heels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heels. And up. Here we go. 1, 2, heels. 6, 7, 8, heels. And up. Nice. Okay. Now I'm going to put this down. Put this down. See where we're at. Oh, we're past time. Oh, we're having too much fun. Okay. Shake out your hands. So we really put the pressure here today, here today, here today, here today. Turn your chair around as we're leaving. Drop your shoulders and just put your toe back there on your toe. Roll back and forth. Push your hips forward. Drop your chin. Hips forward. Hips forward. Hips forward. Yes. Come back in, drop your shoulders. Here we go, back. Roll the ankle. Roll the ankle. Roll the ankle, back and forth. Take a big breath. Really push the hips forward, drop your shoulders. See that ankle rolling? Wow, this is a great recovery for the workout that we did today. So it was focused around trying to do moves that, without you knowing, work to your back extensors as well as your legs. I know. Time flies when you're having such fun.